family thought I drifted between odd jobs, never settling into anything real. I let them believe it. While they joked about me at holiday dinners, I was actually an Army bomb technician, quietly paying my parents' property taxes every year and carrying scars from a mission I wasn't legally allowed to talk about. I came back to my hometown 6 days before my little brother Caleb's wedding. My mother had the small apartment above the garage ready for me, same as always, the place I stayed between deployments. Downstairs, everyone was deep in conversation about flowers, music, and seating charts. Nobody once asked how I'd traveled home or what I actually did for a living. At the suit fitting that Saturday, Caleb stood up on the little platform, entertaining his groomsmen while I steamed jackets against the wall, useful and completely invisible. When one of the groomsmen asked what I did for work, Caleb laughed. Nothing for long. She basically lives off Mom and Dad. My father chuckled into his coffee. Honestly, it didn't even sting anymore. After enough years, old insults just become furniture in a room. I reached over to grab Caleb's jacket, and my sleeve slid back. The grafted skin on my left wrist caught the light from the shop windows. Caleb's best man, a guy named Owen, stopped smiling completely. "Where did you get that scar?" "Work accident," I said, pulling my cuff back down. Owen stepped outside with his phone. 20 minutes later, 2 men rushed into the shop. One of them looked straight at me and said one word under his breath. The room went dead silent. Owen started explaining. 12 years earlier, in Afghanistan, his platoon had been trapped in a dry irrigation channel. A buried explosive was blocking their only way out while gunfire closed in from both sides. Someone had crawled forward, alone, to disarm it. A secondary charge had gone off, catching that person's sleeve on fire, but they'd pinned the burning fabric under their own knee and kept working until the main device was disabled. 11 soldiers made it out of that valley alive because of it. Owen had personally carried that soldier to the helicopter. He'd never learned her real name. Caleb's face went completely blank. My father stood up like the floor had shifted under him. "There were a lot of people out there that day," I said quietly. "I just did my part." Then I went back to finishing Caleb's jacket, because unfinished work has always bothered me more than silence. That evening, my father followed me outside and tried to apologize. I stopped him. "Not today," I said. "Today is about the suits." The next night, I finally told my parents everything. How I'd enlisted at 18 when their hardware store started failing. How I'd turned down college so there'd be enough money left for Caleb's education. 4 deployments. The explosion. 11 months in a burn unit. And 9 straight years of automatic payments, quietly covering their property taxes and home insurance. My mother cried hardest when she realized I'd been calling her every single Sunday from a rehab courtyard, listening to her talk about church curtains, never once mentioning where I actually was. Caleb showed up furious. "You let us look like idiots." "I let you be wrong," I told him. "You're the one who chose to say it out loud." He walked out without another word. For 3 days, I didn't reach out to fix his embarrassment for him. Then, at dawn on the 4th day, he knocked on my door holding 2 terrible cups of gas station coffee. "Tell me the whole story," he said. "Your version." So I did. The wire, the hidden charge, the fire, the mental checklist I kept repeating to myself while my own skin was burning. I told him real courage rarely looks dramatic. Most of the time, it's just doing the next necessary thing. When I finished, he lowered his head. "I called you useless in front of a man whose life you saved. I don't expect to feel better about that quickly," he said. "But I needed you to know that I understand now." After that, he showed it through actions, not apologies. He moved my seat from the overflow table to the family table. He kept my story completely off the wedding website. He personally asked permission before inviting 2 of Owen's old platoon mates. And most importantly, he promised there would be no big public moment made out of any of it. At the reception, I found a small folded card sitting beside my plate. Owen had written 11 names inside. No explanation, no praise, just the names of the men who had walked out of that valley. Caleb's toast came after dinner. I want to thank the person who taught me that showing up is the work you do before anyone's even watching, he said. She kept my baseball stats when I was 10 years old. She protected this family in ways none of us ever bothered to ask about, and she never once asked for credit for any of it. To the ones who arrive early. He raised his glass, then looked away, giving me privacy even while he honored me in front of everyone. Later that night, my father asked me to dance. I told the wrong story about you for years, he said. I'm done telling stories. I'm just going to be proud instead. Close to midnight, I sat down with Owen and a couple of the other veterans for one quiet drink. No speeches, no formality. I rolled my left sleeve up to my elbow, and the scar just sat there under the string lights, while everyone around us talked about roofing jobs and their kids' baseball seasons. Nobody stared. And somehow, that ordinary moment meant more to me than any medal ever had. For years, I'd hidden that scar to keep everyone else from asking questions. Leaving it uncovered that night wasn't a confession, and it wasn't revenge either. It was just my life, finally allowed to breathe out in the open. The next morning, I got on a bus with one duffel bag and both sleeves rolled up. My family's respect had shown up late, but my worth had never once needed their permission to exist.